Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're honored to be with Angie Stiff, Executive Director at Pinson Hospital Hospitality House. How are you doing?
I'm great, Jeremy. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here this morning and talk to you about our mission and share that with the community.
Well, you all are doing tremendous good, and we have a lot to celebrate as well, including a 50th anniversary. So let's go ahead and start with some background and some history. So give us some history for the organization.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say happy birthday to Pinson Hospital Hospitality House, because how many nonprofits, and we are a local nonprofit, we're not driven by a national organization, but how many nonprofits can actually celebrate 50 years in existence? So that is a really big deal. We're doing lots of celebration throughout the year. But I want to talk really more importantly how we started, because it's a very grassroots idea that two very powerful women decided to do 50 years ago. So back in 1972, Mickey Beasley's son, Ricky, was in a terrible car accident here in Nashville at the age of 18, which many of us hear about car accidents of teenagers. And it happened, I want to say in May or June time frame. And there were 5 teenagers in the car, and unfortunately, one young lady passed away in the car accident, and Ricky was severely injured. And so he was in the hospital for about 5 or 6 months. And like many of us, when we visited hospitals, during Mickey's time at the hospital during that 5 to 6 months, she was very aware and noticed other people sleeping on the floor, sleeping on couches, eating out of vending machines, and doing laundry in sinks, and they had nowhere to go coming to Nashville for whatever the medical crisis might be. And so she really took it upon herself and had a vision and a mission, and just thought, can we find a home, just a really simple home for these people to be able to go to and have human basic needs met, like having a home cooked meal, doing laundry, sleeping in a comfortable bed with a mattress, and just really simple human needs. And so that was really her idea back in 1972. And so she enlisted the help of her sister-in-law, Ann Crinson. And it took them about 2 years to actually form. And she's so funny. She'll tell you, I went to and talked to everyone that would listen to me. So she met with the mayor, the governor, city officials, and just started talking about, really, this is a citywide problem and issue, because people were sleeping in lobbies of all the hospitals. They were sleeping in cars. And so she took it upon herself, and it took them about 2 years. And the first doors opened in July 22nd, 1974. So 50 years later, here we are. And like many nonprofits and organizations, there's been good years and bad years and ups and downs and, twists and turns and all of that. But we have thrived, we've existed, and we've been able to serve now over 50 years 22,000 families and over 50,000 individuals. So the numbers are very staggering, and we've served all 95 counties of the state of Tennessee, all 50 states, and we're up to 41 countries now. So we literally do have people that come from around the world in some type of medical crisis here in Nashville. We serve all ages, all conditions. It just has to be medical crisis. So we serve all the hospitals in the Middle Tennessee region. And so we're here about, serving these families. And what's very interesting, I've been the executive director here for 11 years. And what's been very interesting for me, even over 11 years, is that we all know insurance has changed, medical insurance has changed over the years. And so we currently we have 30 rooms, and out of that 30 rooms, about 80% of the people that we serve that are staying with us are patients. So we started out with a mission of serving caregivers while the patient was in the hospital. But as patients leave the hospital, for instance, a transplant patient, they may, they're not sick enough to go to a step down facility like a nursing home, but they're not well enough to go home, wherever that may be, and they need to stay close by the hospital. So again, we end up with the patient actually staying here with us, or a cancer patient, until they stay here and go back and forth to the hospital for, appointments or treatments or follow-ups until they're ready to go home. So we do a tremendous amount of good.
Talk about how the patients are referred to you. So talk about that process.
Yep, we have a very tight process. So we work very closely with all the hospitals. Particularly, we work with nurses, case managers, and social workers. Predominantly the social workers. So we have a great relationship with all the social workers in all the predominant hospitals that we work with in Middle Tennessee. And they make a referral to us. So it's really simple. People ask me, in fact, I was asked this week, how do you get in? It's first come, first serve. Our referral process is on our website, and the social worker goes and makes a referral, and then literally is time stamped. So as we have a room that becomes available, then they are next on the list, basically. And we just call down the list and invite people to come over and stay. We have 30 rooms, and we have 4 suites. So for families that may have, because we do have a lot of young couples with babies that are in the NICU. And so you may have a family, a mom and a dad, and they may want to bring their other 2 children to stay. They can do that. And so we have 4 suites with 2 bedrooms and a den area. We also have a huge community kitchen with an 18-foot island in the middle of it. And so that becomes our community center, and where people really gather around food and get to know one another. One of the stories I love to tell, Jeremy, I know I'm talking a lot, but I love to share the story of people walk through the front door as strangers, but they leave as best friends and family. And it just gives me chills to talk about it, because the human spirit very much comes alive under this roof. And it's so amazing. And I get to sit in the seat every day and watch these families in medical crisis again come together. And we may have 10 transplant families in here that may be from Michigan or Florida or Arizona. And they've come here for, some type of organ transplant. So they're all going through a very similar situation. They did not know one another, but yet they leave as friends. In fact, this summer, we have a group that they were all here together, and they were transplant patients together. They're going on a cruise together this summer together. I mean, how cool is that? So we get we see really all the good that's going on. And I always leave here thinking, yeah, there's a lot going on in our world, but there's so much good going on here at PHHH that we get to see and witness every day. And it's just really chilling to witness this and watch this. And when people are going through a medical crisis, it really brings home what life is really about, and about human nature and human kindness. And we get to see that. It's just incredible.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and that story in particular, because it shows you're building a sense of community and inspiration, encouragement with each other.
Yes.
And I think that's powerful when you talk about the hope and the promise of healing and what that means. And then obviously the bonds and the friendships that are created as a result as well. Carry that into, I know that you have tremendous corporate support, organizations, companies like Delta Dental of Tennessee. Talk about corporate support, talk about volunteerism and how important that is to your mission and efforts. So talk about community support.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're like any other nonprofit. We do not get any government funding at all. So we have to do 100% of our fundraising every year, which I am very proud of our budget. We have a 30,000 square foot building, actually, that we just moved into 5 years ago. And our budget runs around 1.1 million a year, which people always say, wow, that's incredible. And so, yeah, we have a tremendous amount of community support. Everyone from Vanderbilt University Medical Center, the Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital, HCA, Centennial Medical Hospital. We just have so many, First Bank, the Heirs Foundation. We have lots of foundations that also support us. But we do a tremendous amount of work. And then we have 3 fundraisers a year. We just had our 50th anniversary big celebration party out at Greystone Quarry, and we raised the most money ever at that event at $270,000. So we're getting ready for a golf tournament in 4 weeks. And so we're very appreciative for our corporate support, our foundation support. We have the Hayes Foundation, the Landon Family Foundation, Memorial Foundation. So we have, I mean, I can't name them all because there's many, to be honest with you, but they all know who they are. We're very appreciative, very thankful. We have a great board of directors that I report to, incredible leaders in the community. It's a very prestigious group, so I'm very proud of that. We also have a young professional group. And all of these people are volunteers, which leads me to my next section of volunteers. So we also, I will mention that during COVID, we never shut down during COVID. And so we have continued serving all the hospitals during COVID. We did not shut down for 1 minute. So we continue to stay open all during that time. We also continue to have volunteers come through the doors because we are a very small staff. That's something else that I'm also very proud of. We're very small, but I always say we're very mighty, and we all do a little bit of everything. In fact, before I jumped on this, I was actually out meeting with some volunteers that came this morning, that come, 2 wonderful ladies that come every Wednesday, and they clean up our kitchen. They clean out the refrigerators and they organize the kitchen, because we have 1 kitchen for 30 families. So it gets busy, it gets messy, just like your kitchen does at home. People are cooking in it. And again, it's the center of this house and this home, as we talked about. So there's lots of different ways you can volunteer. In fact, food is really big here. And so that's probably the biggest way that you can volunteer with us. And you can always email me, Stiff at hhhnashville.org, and inquire about volunteering. And we have a director of volunteers and programs. We have lots of parties here. We try to make their stay here with us to feel like a little bit of normalcy, because we are open, obviously, 365 days a year. Unfortunately, illness does not take a break or a holiday. Cancer doesn't, transplant patients, these are all life-saving treatments. Again, that's why we did not close during COVID, because aside from COVID, people were still needing heart transplants or had cancer or having babies that needed surgeries. So again, food is warmth and comfort for people, and also a place of conversation and camaraderie. And so we have a lot of volunteers that do dinners at night, and then we will have kind of parties that go along with that. We may have puzzle night or cookie night or ice cream night. So we do a variety of things with volunteer groups, and we do it on the weekends also. We have a lot of schools, high schools that are involved, cheerleading groups, just all sorts, Sunday school classes, all sorts. We have a lot of corporations that will come in and do. We just had United Healthcare came and did a big cookout. Their staff came and brought a grill actually and did a whole cookout of hamburgers and hot dogs and sat with the guests. And I always tell volunteers, ask 2 questions. Where are you from and why are you here? And usually you can just be quiet and they will talk to you, because our guests love to share their stories of why they're here and what they're going through. And so it's very meaningful and very purposeful for volunteers, and being able to sit with the guests and ask those 2 questions and let them share their story and share compassion and empathy with them. So that's probably the biggest way to volunteer with us. We also have events that people can volunteer with us, just helping logistically with those events. Again, like our golf tournament that's coming up. And then, but that's if you really want to get what I call hands-on with our guests and their story and what they're going through in the human spirit, that's probably the best way to do it, is coming to share a meal. Or if you have a special talent, you want to come play the guitar, or you want to play the harp, or you want to give massages, or anything like that, we are always open to creative ideas, to people's talents and what they may have that they can share with our families. So it's just really about sharing the human spirit and caring for another human being. And we see a lot of that. It's very moving. And like you said, and very encouraging. So if you want to be a part of something like that and be a part of a growing organization, we are also, again, we moved into a new building of 30 rooms, and I'm already here. We're already maxed out. Our wait list has 100 people on it every day. We really need to do an addition of 22 more rooms. We've got plans for that. And of course, it's always just about money as a nonprofit. And so we're always looking for new corporate sponsorships, new foundations, and people that really care about and want to be a part of something exciting. I'm very proud of our organization. Our volunteers are very passionate about this organization, about what we do. I'm also a big believer. I got into this business, as I call it, because I've been a volunteer my whole life. And I'm a big believer in you've just got to be passionate about whatever you volunteer for, whether it's the homeless or whether it's animals. And so I just encourage everyone out there to be passionate about something to help your community, whatever that may be. And just find your passion and then give your time and your talents to that. Because I also believe we all have different talents and we have different skill sets that we can offer and lend up. And just be passionate about that and just dive in and jump in there and offer your time, whatever that may be. Because time is also a valuable resource that we all have, and we can choose where we spend that time. Isn't that true, Jeremy?
Absolutely. Well, that's you're exactly right. And I love it. I mean, that's inspirational words right there. So wrap up with where we can go to learn more, to get involved. Yep. So website, social media, phone number, where would you direct us to go?
Absolutely. So our website is hhhnashville.org. All of our staff is listed on the website. You can email any one of us directly from the website. We have videos on the website also that you can view and learn more about us. I am always open, and I invite anyone out there to come for a tour and see what we're all about. We're on social media on Facebook and Instagram on HH Nashville. Is our Instagram and Facebook. So go there. We are always posting stories about our families, our volunteers, and what's going on here. And Jeremy, just thank you again for allowing me to share our story, our mission. It's just so exciting, and happy 50th birthday to HHH.
Absolutely. Happy 50th indeed. So Angie Stiff, Executive Director, Pinson Hospital Hospitality House, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for your time and allowing me to do this. I greatly appreciate it.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.